like I was saying, personal transformation takes place when we say enough is enough. And I think to go on to the next thing, it was feeling emotions. I think for so many of us, especially men, we pretend a lot, let's be honest. I'm a man's man. I'm saying that because I am. But I'm also, I'm a woman's man. But what I mean by that is, I'm an alpha male. I'm a proper man's man. But I'm not gonna be ignorant to the fact that I'm very vulnerable, I'm very emotional, and I'm sensitive. But for many years of my life, I didn't like feeling feelings, even down to the smallest thing. And I was speaking to, again, a client over Skype. I was so frightened of social confrontation. If someone disagreed with me, just the slightest thing could make me feel so uncomfortable. It would be a temporary abandonment of the self. So maybe in a conversation with someone, maybe enjoying it, and maybe a topic comes up and they disagree with me. They're not being horrible, they're just being normal. But for me, it's irrational fears and phobias. I take it personal, and it deflates me. So my character at that time was weak. So saying enough is enough, and actually allowing yourself and surrendering to your emotions. That's what I'm trying to get to. And that's why a lot of people will say they don't feel love, because what they're saying is they're not feeling anything, they're feeling anger. And the emotion of anger is never a good one, it's a toxic one. But I still think it's one that we need to learn to feel and to not identify with, at least get in touch with. Because if you kind of suppress yourself from feeling your emotions, that's when things like depression and anxiety come on. And like I've said in my other videos, that's when things like addictions come to heal us. And I want to actually go into that now because it feels right. I'm going to be really brave as well, because this is some graphic stuff, and sometimes when I'm doing this, I'm thinking, I hope people don't get a hold of this or watch it, but never mind anyway, that's just my ego probably, or worrying too much. Because I was in so much pain years ago, because I abandoned my true self and I refused to allow myself to be loved by anyone or trust anyone, and I didn't know how to love back fully, it was very confusing. I got destroyed by addictions. I let addictions rape me and destroy me and beat the shit out of me, and I hated addictions, and I'll go through the addictions now. Sorry, I shouldn't use swear words, I'm trying to get better at that. I would say the most shameful addiction I had, and I had it for a while, and I did have it, was sleeping with prostitutes. And that's I don't even like using that word, I just feel bad for calling them that, but paying for sex. And it was interesting because, and I suppose a lot of people who have addictions would say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, I never believed that I was someone that would do something like that at the time. It just goes to show how much I didn't know myself. And when I first did it, I was 21 and I lost my virginity to a prostitute. By the way, I told this to a girl on a first date, don't recommend it. I did it once, that's when I take my honesty too far. And people say, how far should I go with the honesty? Social skills. So yeah, I did it at 21, and oh man, it was a strange experience, because part of me enjoyed it, the pleasure, the actual sex, first time experiencing sex, but the come down after was death. It was like a cocaine come down, and I went back and kept doing it, and I did it with friends, and then I started to do it by myself and not tell anyone, and oh man, I felt so ashamed. I remember I was working as a postman at the time, I was 22, this is a decade ago. And I remember thinking to myself, I had a voice come up, call it a demonic voice, and it was edging me on to go to the machine and withdraw money. And obviously my real self was going, I don't want to do that, I don't even really have the money. Like it was half a week's wages for an experience that's going to last, what, 5 minutes? And no, I'm not a 1 minute man. But it just felt dark, walking up the street, going into the house, pressing the bell, the woman answering, a horrible feeling of darkness, and shame and guilt and disgust and distrust and abandonment, and just not confident enough to love myself and not trusting anyone, and because of negative experiences. But now you guys know why I'm so dedicated. Now you know why my material is so raw. My material is so powerful. It's so inspiring. It's really brave stuff. Even I like my own work, and I think an artist should like their own work, because you can't go through these experiences and not learn a lesson, even a fool would learn a lesson. But I did have the courage to change my life around, which I'm going to add in a second. So, prostitutes. I'll tell you actually one that was just as bad. And this may sound surface-based or not trivial. Hanging out with negative people, and hanging out with people that I didn't enjoy being friends with, but not having the courage to say no, because feeling that who's going to want to be friends with me? I've got nothing to offer. Literally feeling emotionally, spiritually, deep down, I've got nothing to offer. Of course I had nothing to offer, because I wasn't being myself. How can you offer someone something when you're not in your true self? Because you're going to offer them dishonesty. You can't offer them love. Where's the love going to come from? Because you've abandoned yourself. So how can you give someone what you don't have? It's just an illusion. You're just a mannequin. When I remember sitting around actually sensing that they don't enjoy it as well, that they're not enjoying my company. There's games going on. This is game playing. This is a theatre show. Knowing it's not right, feeling it, actually sitting in a room full of people all wearing masks, and the kid in the side going, let me out, let me out. I mean, physically feeling him going, let me out, I want to come out, and I'm saying, no, stay there, too scared. And then going away and feeling angry and feeling aggressive towards the friends and wanting to talk about them, because abandonment of self. And living a dishonest life. Living a life without love. The way I seen it, eventually, I'm willing to die for what I believe in. I'm willing to face my fear. I'm going to tell my dad it was wrong the way he treated me. I'm not having this anymore in the right way. I'm going to build my confidence. I'm going to achieve my dreams. I'm not being frightened into staying on job seekers allowance. I'm not judging anyone, because members of my family have been on that, and incredibly hardworking family I've got around. My dad he's a very hardworking man. That's where I get a lot of my drive from my father. A lot of the good things he did for me. But just feeling to myself, going into the job centre, signing on and feeling prostituted. I actually felt prostituted. It's mad to say it. I felt raped, I felt horrible, I felt disgusting. And the shame and the guilt, and feeling I shouldn't be in this place. Why am I in this place? But another voice saying, you're putting yourself in it. I'm going, no I ain't. This. And the same feeling, the prostitutes, the job seeker allowance, the drinking, the negative friends, but all caused by myself. All caused by me for being afraid, abandonment of the self, abandoning myself over, being taken over by almost like demons or negative energies. And of course the friendships would be incongruent or dishonest, because you give, you get back. Simple law. So I'm not even blaming them. I'm done with that. Not even blaming any of the friends. Thank God, growing up, there were some moments of joy, because if there weren't some relief, it would all be bad. But then getting more experience, growing older, and saying, what a beautiful story. What a powerful, honest story, even though there was dishonesty. What courage. I made it, reconnected, or rebirthed, or the birth of whatever you call it. How inspiring is that? I'm inspired by my own story, because it's a representation of many other stories of courage, of love. Only love could have got me here. Nothing else impossible. Because I did try all the other stuff, the negativity and the violence, and that just gets you up the ladder and you drop back down again. You back up, you back down. You can't get through life like that. You just scare the shit out of people, push people away, And the people pleasing, that's the same one. It only gets you so far because people sense it, and you meet people that like that, and you don't get to the core, the surface. So you know when you start loving yourself, because you know who you are, because you know who you are based on the way you live, your habits, the conversations you have, your worldview, the way you treat people, what you'll put up with, what you won't put up with. This is coming onto congruency and being yourself, what I've said in the videos from day one, what even the old Johnny Berba was getting at. He was slowly coming out, reconnecting. So don't worry right now if you like that. I mean, don't take it lightly. I mean, worry, but I'm saying worrying isn't going to do any good. But like I said earlier, enough is enough. Say it. Say it. Enough is enough. I've had enough. I'm breaking out. I'm gonna surrender. That's what Jeffrey said to me in his videos. Surrender. It says in the Bible. Die into the self, die to self. And that's what you literally do when you have an awakening. You kill your old identity, you kill him off, you stop your addictions. Because you give him life when you feed the addictions. So like I said in my other video, if you've got negative friends, that's because you're a negative person, you're attracting them, you're designing your life like that. Same with meeting women. And what's nice is what I said to a student the other day. I said, what's great about when you go through adversity, you come from violence or poverty or any struggle in life, and you do something right, not only obviously do you feel good because you've achieved something, but I think for me personally, I can speak for me, what's more satisfying or gratifying is that you make your past life worth it. So it's almost like, this is how I felt psychologically, spiritually. I was able to jump back in time, reconnect with myself, give myself love, forgive myself, forgive everyone else, but just make it worth it, make your life worth it. Because if you spent 20 years of your life feeling that you've wasted life, you've not been fully honest, you've not lived in the right body, something isn't right, you're not being honest, when you finally put things right, it all kind of makes sense. It hasn't been a waste. Otherwise it would be very difficult. And I think nature or life or God, whatever you want to call it, has got a way of healing us, putting things right, giving it balance. So sometimes I often sit here and think, because whatever, a feeling sorry for myself moment, God, I've been through a lot, and then I think, I ain't been through nothing. You look at someone else that's been through stuff, wars or things people have been through, and you think, I've got quite a fair card. I've got dealt a fair card. And then you also think, I start thinking further and think, everyone goes through shit. Like Les Brown said, you don't get out of life alive. You don't go into the boxing ring without getting a few bumps and bruises. It's not possible. Unless you're Floyd Mayweather, making a bit of a joke, guys, and trying to lighten the subject. And even he got hit towards the end of his career. So I started to realise that, and this is going to sound mad, but it's true, it's in the moment. I thought, where did I get my intelligence from? Because I'm not intelligent in terms of, from the academic sense or social terms. I didn't go down that route. But my intelligence came from violence. It's learning how you don't want to live, putting you onto the right path. And I just think the realism of it and the no bullshit. And I think that is really embedded in my character and my work. I'm just letting things go, it feels good. I think that's why my work is so appealing to so many people, because it's almost like you can see how much love there's in love and struggle and directness and mistakes and good things, and I love that as an artist, bringing my story from the past and just kind of encapsulating that. And that's why it has that effect. It connects with people, and I watch it and I go, wow, that's inspiring, because I'll say things in the moment, I come back, I didn't really understand it, just felt right in the moment. And for me, this is what's being authentic. It's not planning things, not that having a plan is bad, but acting out of a place of pure authenticity, complete getting rid of that idea of separation and trying to please people, but just kind of being okay with everything, being okay with the fact of being insecure, being okay with being confident, just being okay with all of it, but just doing it and letting go. And that's for me, that is a real movement of love. Because again, I think when we say love, almost like how I understand it, you could say, I kind of lost track now. You could say, I love myself, but that could change tomorrow. You have a bad day, something upsets you, or you fall into a negative way of thinking and you don't feel good. But who we are is really represented on how we live, how we move through the world, the things we do. The things we do affect the way we feel. So yeah, I would just say don't abandon yourself. Don't abandon yourself, because it's a very, you know, you could avoid yourself a lot of pain. But maybe that's just the route that you're going to have to go. Maybe, you know, maybe that I just had to go through this. But I think a lot of men are struggling with this. I really do see this. I see this in the subtext of people's problems, and when I work with people, and just looking in the world and seeing the way, the things that, you know, people, I think it's something that we have to constantly maintain. Like when I say I'm myself now, I found myself, I've got the kingdom within, but I have to continuously maintain this, which is exciting, which I like. So you've got to keep maintaining it. But I think this is the problem a lot of men struggle with. They abandon themselves in order to fit in a society, to not risk being rejected or not loved. But it just, you never get the proper love and nurturing and human connection when you are afraid to lose it. And that's something at some point I'm gonna do a lot of videos about with women, even though I'm not that interested. I'm not really teaching that anymore, but I'm kind of not teaching men directly how to meet women, but I am teaching it. This video is teaching you it, because these are all the characteristics and the place you need to be at to be attracted to a woman, or to be attractive to anything, to be attractive in life. So many people are abandoning themselves in order to risk not being abandoned, but you can't actually be abandoned when you connect with yourself. So just fuck it, sorry to swear, but just do it. You know, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Nothing happens. And it's worth dying for. It's worth risking it, because nothing ever happens. And I really kind of got to play around with this concept when I was going out on the streets of London chatting women up, because there was always that initial, what if this happens, what if that doesn't happen, I'm afraid, or what if I look insecure, what if I make a mistake, or what if she can see this, or what if she can see that. But I'd kind of get into a state where it would all disappear. It was beyond positive, it was beyond comprehension. It was like, I'm just letting go. And it's almost like in those moments, you've not abandoned yourself, you've put your true self to the forefront, and the results were fantastic. It was always when great connections and all the rest of it, but it always went bad, and a lot of social anxiety or stiffening or tightness when you're worried, you're trying to do things so she won't turn you down. Hence why I never agreed with any sort of pick-up artist blueprint or any method that was linear, that was guaranteed, because any guarantee of a method is I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical, because you have to allow for spontaneity. And I think, again, that's massively rooted in the male fears or the psychological fears of a human being, that we're always quite frightened to allow spontaneity. So for example, doing this video, I allowed myself to be spontaneous. I came up with an idea of a concept, I want to talk about this, but I've now it's come to this. I didn't know this was going to happen. And it feels great. It feels better now being in this part of the video than it did at the start. The start I felt good, but I had a concept, I was planning it. Look at what's been born. So I've literally done the exercise now in this video. Not that I abandoned myself at the start, I came with my true self, but I feel like I've connected even more now. So this is really what I teach men. This is what I teach men on my 6-week program, how to be. Not to be like me, to be like you. To just get into that state. And it's not just a metaphor in a conversation with people, hence overcoming social anxiety. It's the lifestyle, it's a way of living. It's a daily surrender. It's, again, in the Bible, as he says, it's a daily death. My friend Sati will always say, you've got to die to yourself daily, meaning you've got to surrender daily, you've got to love yourself daily, you've got to connect. And you can't do that if you're living a dishonest life, because you're always going to be faking it, you're going to be stuck, you're going to be trying to get things from, the motives ain't going to be right when you get it, it's never going to be enough, you're never going to trust it. So it's almost like this, giving it all away, fuck it, and then it all comes back. great concept, and I just wanted to inspire you. I wanted to touch your heart in this video, because I know how it used to feel, and I want you to experience how good it feels now.